Elida must be a proud
Bye.
mama. Yes. Bye, honey.
Yes.
Good night and all the
Bye.
best. Keep fighting.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I am besides
Yes, too.
myself. You guys don't know what this is doing for me.
Well done, girl. Well
This is
done.
doing so much for young women. So, Nelva, what you have to say to young women right now before we get to the other question?
What I have to say is that
Who may
don't let
find them,
one
yes, who may
don't let
find themselves like you.
don't let one obstacle get in your way, right? And bring you down, right? You have to fight and tell yourself you could do it,
Amen.
right? Because when most teenage pregnancies, right? For example, being a registered nurse for so long, I have dealt with teenagers who got pregnant because of my line of work.
Yes.
But I also counsel teenagers as well during teenage pregnancy, and I always tell them, listen, I always share my experience with them and tell them, look at me today, look at me,
Exactly.
you know,
Exactly.
Exactly.
look
Whoa.
at me.
Yes.
Because
Yep. Yep.
there's a ward in Port of Spain General called slip and slide ward,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
right? I used to work on that ward, and when I meet these teenagers, my heart will go out to them, and I will counsel them and talk to them and tell them this is not the end of the world. Look at me. And that will boost them and boost their ego, and they will fight it, you know? So, because sometimes I am the kind of person that if you tell me, hear this, you can't move that cup from there, I will show you I can move that cup from there. You
Ex-
understand? Tell
explain
me,
to
just
explain.
tell me, well, Nelva, you can't do this.
I'll show you how you could do it.
It's just like you
That's
can.
right.
Well, you just like me. As long as
The
you tell
more,
me no, I getting
yes,
ready to go.
yes. The more you tell me I can't, the more I will show you I could do it. Just tell me you can't do it.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
Explain to the people of Trinidad and Tobago and wherever in the world that they are listening to this young woman that came out of number one poverty. You didn't grow up rich.
Yes. No.
You came out of poverty. You suffered.
Yes.
You suffered setback by getting pregnant while you were fighting to get to the top, and
Yes.
now you are here. Tell us what's the meaning of slip and slide. Why that word is named? I know the answer, but tell them.
Okay, that slip and slide means that, okay, when these teenagers come to the ward and they come to speak to the nurse, they'll say, nurse, look, I fall long and I start bleeding and something just, slip out like that. And I don't know what happened. That's why they call it slip and slide ward, because they'll tell you they fall, you understand? Or they bounce themselves somewhere and, they start bleeding. So that's why they call it the slip and slide ward.
I still don't understand fully now. The
Right.
miscarriage, they have a
Yes,
miscarriage. Yes.
yes,
Oh, that's because
yes,
yeah.
It's
yes. That's
gynecological.
that is what they call
Can
it.
I explain it?
Yeah.
Um,
Or
as a nurse,
abortion.
midwife, and health visitor, I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to add to what Nelva said. I worked at the Roxborough Maternity Unit, and we have to
Mm-hmm.
understand that our culture is one in which we don't subscribe to teenage pregnancy, but it is a
Yeah.
problem that is evident in our community. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel more effort should be made in talking about sex education and people letting people understand the implications of
Mm-hmm.
sex and the outcome, because as Nelva well said, all hospitals have this slip and slide ward where students will come in and have um DNCs and go home, and sometimes the parents don't even know about it.
Yeah.
So slip
Yay.
and slide ward is the gynecological ward where people come
Yeah.
to have
Abortion or
evaluation after terminations, incomplete and otherwise.
Automatically.
And it's very sad. And some people die because they don't get managed properly. And
hmm.
Yeah.
as Never said, they wouldn't tell you the truth when they come. They would
Yeah.
tell you that, they fail and what have you. So we have to be more mindful and understanding to young women and the plight. And teenage pregnancy is something that it's cyclical. Sometimes your mother is a teenage mother, and because she tries so hard, and sometimes she tried too hard, and then you end up being a teenage mother yourself. So the churches need to be more mindful, the schools, the community, even the nursing fraternity, because some students afraid to go to the nurse and tell them what is happening, and
And
sometimes
so sometimes when a young girl come to that ward, sometimes is not a fall, could be some illegal backyard abortion that they tried, or drink something and stuff like that. Yeah.
sometimes because of fear the parents and what have you, and they feel pressured, they do stuff like that, and it could be life threatening. So we need to be more transparent as a community, as a family, as churches, as people who support young people, that things happen, and hiding it and being, covert doesn't help. It
So
doesn't help.
nurse, I have to call you guys nurse because you guys are educating. You guys are educating people here so much here tonight. Nelva, my pride is exceeding my understanding and my belief right now. The pride I have in you, because what Stephanie is saying here, I use the word illegal, but it is illegal. Abortion is illegal in Trinidad and Tobago, is it?
Yes, it is. It is.
Nelva?
Unless it's life threatening of some sort, but basically it is. Even
It
as
is.
a secondary to incest, rape, and some teenagers, you have been exposed to an incestuous relationship, or may have been coerced into having sex by somebody who they know, or may have been bullied into having unprotected sex, resulting in a pregnancy.
Because, Stephanie, you know that many women in Tobago, many young girls, never say yes to their first sexual encounter.
No,
We don't
it's
say
a
yes.
bit, it's a
Sometimes
bit,
it's forced,
mhm.
and kind of entice you into certain things, or it could be from your own family, from your
Yeah.
father, from your and when a young girl know that she get impregnated by her father or a brother, they don't want to bring that child, so they will
Yeah, and it's
go.
scary
Yes, it's very
because
scary.
a lot of young mothers feel so challenged because they don't think they have the skills to be a parent, and it is very frightening. I remember delivering babies of 11-year-olds who were, when the baby started to cry, they're petrified because the child is demanding, and they don't have the life skills to manage. And secondary to that, your body at 11 is not prepared for motherhood. So it's quite traumatic, and lots of people, because of these phobias, may choose to go and have terminations. And it's sad. It's very sad.
Tonight we are on a spot here, and the spotlight is going into children. However, Nelva, you just said something to young people,
It's not the
and
end of the world.
it's not the end of the world. And to see where you came from and where you are right now,
Yes.
it is an honor for me to have you on this show, and I will like to invite you back. I am now encouraging people to call back, but then we have a question. We have Sister Sharon Frith Jackson here. She came on the show before, and she has a special need son, as I would say, and she's here to speak about her son. She's here to really. I didn't know she was here to really be on the same level tonight, where we might even get to talk much on on the topic that we really came here for, because Sharon Frith Jackson
Wanted
is
it.
here with the same stories like you, Nelva. She had her first child when she was young. Also, she left Tobago, and She went to Trinidad to get into the army. Sister Sharon, tell us something about that area, and then we can introduce your son. Is Sister Sharon hearing me? Because we have nurses on board that could speak.
Okay, I'm question you asked, but I think you said tell me about my son. Because it's buffering. What you said, tell you about my son, okay?
Tell me about first. Tell us something about yourself leading to your son.
Okay. Well, I write out a whole lot of stuff here because I don't want to forget anything.
I like you.
Right, you know. I have a son and he's Down syndrome. But before I get into that, when Shaquan, well, a matter of fact, they asked me to take an amniocentesis. I never took it because for me, I didn't see the reason to take one. You understand what I'm saying? Because if God give me this boy, abortion wasn't an option for me. Or not, I found out that he was special needs or he was whatever he was. You know what I mean?
So you knew.
No, I didn't know. I didn't know that I was a special needs son. No, I did not.
So do you think if you
did
take the amnio
after he was
So you knew that you were high risk? Or you don't think about that?
Yeah, because I was over 40 years. I didn't think about that but I was over 40 years, but I didn't think about high risk. I didn't think about a special need child. I didn't think about none of those things. You know what I mean? I wasn't even thinking about having a child.
Oh my goodness.
But he came. You know what I mean? But when I went to have him in the hospital and I saw the doctor, I noticed when he came out, they put him on my stomach and he was really, really dark. You know what I mean? And they ran with him. I knew something was wrong, you know? My heart was beating so fast. I was like, my world was breaking apart, you know what I mean? I was breaking into small pieces. Right in front of my eyes, I seen like that moment, I see like my world collapsing in front of me. I felt, you know, then the doctor came back and he said that my son is Down syndrome and the doctors are going to come in and they're going to talk to me, and they came in, you know. I felt an immense disappointment, you know what I mean? And desperate need to, I started to blame myself for having a baby at 42, you know. So I started to look for reasons to blame myself, and then, you know, I challenged God and I asked God, by, you know, why you're gonna choose me? You know, I was angry with God. And to me, like I hear a small voice saying, why not you? And today I have no regrets. Because Shaquan, come here. This is my son. Come.
Bless him.
And this is my son. Bend down.
Hey, Shaquan.
And he loving.
Come on. Look at him.
Yeah.
Look at him.
Yes,
you
yes,
know?
yes.
Yes.
Hi, Shaquan. How are you doing?
Super cute.
I'm fine, thank you. Yes.
Please, look at his teeth.
Yes.
Nice.
I
Right.
know,
And
cute.
I know we have a pivot here right now from this kind of show onto the other, but then this is how the Spirit work it up, because Nelva is a nurse and I know she deals with kids like this. Yes, Nelva, you yes. and you used to train nurses. Tell them.
Yes, still do.
Oh, she still does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's in the range there to have a conversation with you. I ask you one question: if you think that you should have taken that stuff, and if you did, and at that time, if you knew, what would have been your answer? But you said abortion was not
An option.
an option. Is she hearing me? And then we have Jo-Anne. She's also a nurse here. And Jo-Anne happened to have a story that she could share also to help to strengthen Sharon Frith Jackson.
Okay.
Sharon have a
I think Miss
Jackson.
Melville and Miss Thomas are the ones who more experienced in that area than me could answer that question regarding to that.
Well, I have a brother who is Down syndrome. He has always lived with us, and he is a joy.
How old is he now?
My Down syndrome brother is 55 years old.
Listen to the age.
He's an athlete. He went to Special Olympics. He been to the States I've never been.
Sharon, are you listening to this, Sharon? You see where Stephanie's son went?
He went to Atlanta. I have never been to the States, and my brother has been. So, having a teenage mother, having a baby with special needs, even if you make the choice to have a termination, sometimes life deal you some curveballs, but at the end of the day, people make choices and people have the right to make choices, and we need to be supportive of whatever choices people make, whether they choose not to have an amio, whether they choose to have a baby who is disabled. They just needed support and love, because we need to be less judgmental and more supportive as a community. And I'm talking from within the healthcare fraternity, within the school system, because people with special needs struggle at times to be accepted and to be allowed to function at the optimum levels. And my brother is a high functional Down syndrome. He could go to the shops, he could purchase, 3 things without a script. And he's so loving. He helped me bring my daughter up. He and my daughter were really friends, and I would buy games that the two of them could use. He has the IQ of a 6-year-old, but he's loving and he's so kind, So that's my take on the whole scenario, tying everything up together: teenage motherhood, people who have had poor outcomes in their pregnancy, and at that point in time, if they're not supported, they could have depression, or they could reject the baby, and the outcome would not have been as loving as her son is to her.
Well, she just dress him up like a movie star.
Of course.
Yeah.
You need to just show them that love. That's all they need is love.
So sister Sister Jo-Anne Melville. Yeah.
Like I've got 4 kids, and one of my children was diagnosed with ASD, which is autism spectrum disorder. If I don't tell you he has that diagnosis, you would not know. No, you won't know. And he is very, very independent. He goes to school on his, on his own. He's travels on trains. With autism, they have I think sort of have obsessions with things, if I should say that. And his thing was, when he was young, was the trains. I mean, he's nearly 16. In a month's time, he'll be 16. His thing was trains, and anything about trains, the way they run, all the things on top of the train that's attaching the train. you know, and what was his thing as well was mapping journeys, which is still his thing, right? And
Clever boy.
you know, and Odete, as we call him, is he plays the violin with school. Nobody, I never pushed him to do that. We had a violin for which was George's, and he decided to take it to school, get it fixed, join the choir, join the
Thank
choir,
God.
join the orchestra. So he's traveled with the school to where to Europe. He went to France, Belgium, Holland. He's traveled to Austria with them for skiing. You know, it's just that he needs, as he grows older, I think it's a little bit more tricky sometimes. He get really stressed. He's doing his exams next year. He's just done like his pre-GCE exams or CXE in Tobago. And so he needs a bit more support in, you know, and to sort of explain things. But he's a boy that doesn't really want you to kind of help him. He wants to be independent. He does need the help, but he just doesn't want you to and doesn't want to be told about this diagnosis. Doesn't like it, right?
Wow.
He doesn't.
So,
He doesn't really
so
want
maybe
to.
you talking too much now?
No, not really. But you know, you have to. At times, I have to sort of explain certain things, you know, to him. He's, you know, how autism is like the way we see our world. We who haven't got that diagnosis see our world clearly in probably a square or in a circle, whereas his one, he sees it in a square or so. So he doesn't always see things clearly and he's not able to understand your jokes at times and some get really
Ah,
upset. That's some of the things that they do. But he's I don't mollycoddle him. I don't treat him any different anyway. But I know that there are certain things that he does, and you know they've had the diagnosis. There's a lot of support here for it. You know, he's in as I said, he's doing his GCs. They've given him we applied for the extra time and they gave it to him, so he has an extra 25 minutes to do his
Yes.
exam when he's doing that. And there's a lot of support for people with autism in England. They're all in mainstream school unless they're very severely disabled with it. And it's
oh,
not a
so
crime, and it's not crime shame. There's lots of people with autism, married people, even in our country, Trinidad and Tobago, they don't even know that they have it.
Yes.
So
That's
yes.
true.
yeah, there's a lot, and it's happening a lot more frequently now for whatever reason, I don't know.
So,
But
Sister Sharon, sorry there, Joanna, she's going to come back to you because we have lots of undiagnosed autism in Tobago. A lot, Joanne, a lot.
all across.
Maybe too much. But,
True.
but Sister Sharon Frith Jackson this hour, is she frozen? Can you hear me?
She's hearing you.
No, she's not hearing me.
I'm hearing.
Oh, you're hearing. Okay. Yes.
I'm hearing you.
Yes. Now that you heard
Yes.
from these two mothers, what are the challenges that you have or with your son? I know he likes to play the keyboard. Tell us about him. And then we go back to Nelva. Tell us.
Now that I heard from what?
Yes. Now that you heard from these other two mothers, I believe each one of you, one mother, which is Jo-Anne, and a sister, which is Stephanie, and her brother is 50-something years old. Yeah. So you see that your son is in line to live past your age. Yes, he can. We pray, we bless God. We bless God in that avenue. We ask him for continued guidance and protection. Tell us a couple of your challenges and his challenges. I know he likes the keyboard.
He's a very high functional Down syndrome child.
My brother too.
Stop.
He likes the keyboard and no one can touch his keyboard.
Yeah, that's all they have.
Tell us about your son. I love
You
him.
hearing me?
No, I didn't hear you. No, I'm not hearing you. Go ahead.
Carry on.
I think you should go out and come back in. Sister Sharon, go out and come back. So, Nelva, tell us something more about you. Yeah?
Okay,
Tell us something
well,
more about you. Tell us that you don't even have one son from teenage. You have a daughter that I think she wanted was to coach me on the phone yesterday. Tell us about your 7 going on 27. Tell us about your daughter.
okay. Well, the Maya, well, actually, she's 7 years old, right? She likes to give me orders all the time. She likes to correct me when I'm speaking.
Oh my God.
Right? I can't say the I have to say over the or not over the.
Oh, no
Right?
Tobago
She's a
thing for you.
child. She'll correct she thinks that you must speak properly all the time. You must, when you're sitting, you must cross your legs and sit like a young lady. She tells me that all the time.
Did you know your grandmother? Your mother?
Yes, I know her very well.
Have you ever, can you remember how she spoke?
Yes, she spoke like if she just come down from England.
That is how cousin
Is that
Esma used to.
throwback?
That is, it's a throwback. So yesterday I said, what? I said, how old is this? And you tell me
Yes.
7.
Yes, and you have to walk upright and sit down with a posture for granny.
Papa, yo.
Sit with a posture and hold it. Your chin must be upright and everything like that because you know you'll get a spanking from her.
Wow. So this is a Trinidadian child. This child is not from Tobago.
No, she's not. And actually, I didn't even know she was coming in the first place.
Really?
No.
Tell us about that.
Actually, after I had my son,
yes,
right, I developed polycystic ovaries.
Wow.
Right? And I had an irregular period where once a year it will come out twice a year.
What?
Yes.
That's good.
No, so, I was going to the gynae clinic for years and they say I'm sterile, I'm not producing eggs, and I can't have other pregnancies. That's it.
Wow.
What?
Yes. And actually I was with this gentleman for a number of years, right? And then everything ended and then I picked up with this other guy and 3 years after, bam, Maya came. Just like that.
So now you are a nurse and we have gynecologists on board here right now. And plus my daughter, plus your cousin Cindy.
Yes.
Do you think that gynecologist did a great job with how she consulted you and tell you that
they run all the blood tests, they did ultrasounds, they did all the scans.
They invite you to surgery?
No.
But what about fertility?
They did. Excuse?
Did they do anything with regards to fertility? Because somebody like you should be doing like fertility checks. Did they do that? Did they take you in and do certain things?
No, they didn't. No.
So then they would have definitely know if you were producing egg. How did they know you weren't producing eggs still? Did they do tests to say?
From her blood
well,
test.
I know I had several different tests done, and then eventually, after years of going to clinic because of the irregular period, like the period is coming once a year, sometimes whole year past it doesn't come at all, you know. And
well, let me tell you something. Jo-Anne, you asked a very, very, very strong question.
Experience. She should have had gone into the certain tests. Well, Cindy can shed light on that, but I know that she should probably have had those tests anyway. And they would have determined more. Yeah.
So you start to have exposed fun. You ain't checking again to make sure that
of course, I ain't checking again.
Oh, okay. So now you see that gynecologist, she needs
I'm checking again.
Yeah, she
And
need
when
training.
I didn't
She
even
needs some
I didn't even
training.
know she was there. Well, what happened is that 1 year I decided I wanted to go and play mass, right? So the girl going down by Legacy Mass camp to buy she costume. And one bad feeling take me. Started to feel sick. Started to vomit. I was like, I'm going back and work by accident and emergency and check all this. Going into work now, I said, Doctor, Ali was his name. I said, I feel I have food poisoning.
You should name the baby food poisoning.
The way
So
the girl's so brilliant. She's real brilliant.
well, I know they already write me off already much years, so that can happen to me again. So for me, I study nothing.
So you never
So
used to have a period?
no,
Once a year.
once a year, sometimes twice a year.
That has happened to some women, yeah.
Yeah.
I know women like that.
So I didn't even know that that's happening to me. So remember I'm putting on no weight. I'm going about my daily chores as usual. I'm going to the gym. You understand? I'm going to work normal. Nothing. I know my body have no changes. It's only that very same day, which is 4 months after. 4
4
months
months,
after.
20
Yeah, that very
weeks.
same day I went to collect my costume to play mass the next week. You understand? Then I get one bath. Then when I went, they did a UPT and bam.
Pregnant.
Yeah. I was in shock. I passed out, all kind of thing. I was in shock. I couldn't believe it.
Where I mean you pass out? You fainted?
She faint.
Yes, I fainted. I couldn't believe it. I was in disbelief.
And how far along were you? 4 months?
4
20
months.
weeks. Wow.
So you didn't play mass again?
Nearly
No.
20 weeks she was. 16 weeks. What was her? 16. Yes. 16 weeks.
Oh my goodness.
I sell the costume.
Oh, you sell the costume. Wow. So you know you were mishandled, right?
Yes.
You wasn't told the right things. They didn't do the right test.
test.
Jo-Anne, speak up again.
Exactly.
She needed to obviously go through some fertility tests. You know, because if they're saying to you, no, you can't, you're not producing any more eggs, and she's not saying that they had done specific tests to tell her that. But if you did go through a fertility process, they would have known.
No, they didn't go through that. No, they didn't. They just did the blood works to check your hormone level and these things,
Yes, I
and
know.
and that's it. Nothing else.
Wow.
They did ultrasound, and that's about it.
So now we are here, and we branch off back to you, and we get such a story that is not only just a story. It happens very often here around the world, especially Trinidad and Tobago, where people believe that every patient that come to them saying something, it's the same problem. No, treatments have to be different, and they have to pay more attention to women.
Yeah.
Gynecologically differently in Trinidad and Tobago. All of us, all women should see a gynecologist, but not all women have the same problem when we go to a gynecologist. So this is where yes, everybody is different. Don't just hear that she's seeing period once a year. I had a cousin that stopped seeing her period since she was 23 years old.
She had early menopause.
Today she's 60 and she moves around, and then suddenly one day stuff happened. One day stuff happened when she was, I jumped here a little bit. One day stuff happened when she was 32, and there was a little boy right there. No periods all the time, but all of a sudden she's pregnant. That's another PCOS problem again.
Yes.
So we should definitely explain how that works. Can she?
Can Cindy, can you explain? Because we have to go back to Sharon. Then our show will have to come to an end, and you guys are invited back again this one show can't be for everybody who is on this live here today. Here is Dr. Duke.
Oh wait, we're doing a medical health minute now? Is that what this is?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, this is the closure.
Okay, well, what Nelva's talking about is very common in terms of the story you hear for women who have PCOS or polycystic ovary syndrome.
Yes.
The problem here is she was mismanaged, miscounseled, and so in so much as she got the right diagnosis, which was PCOS, what she highlighted in that story and what you just highlighted with your cousin's story is that many times doctors, because they don't understand PCOS, tell patients misinformation. So for example, it is not uncommon for somebody with PCOS to go years without a period. It doesn't mean they don't have eggs. It doesn't mean they cannot get pregnant. As a matter of fact, some women with PCOS only ovulate once or twice a year, which it sounds like might have been happening with Nelva. So it's just a matter of having unprotected intercourse at the time when the egg comes out, the perfect storm. But the story is classic in that this is, there was a whole TV show about what we call PCOS. And I could joke, there's a show called I Didn't Know I Was Pregnant. And people loved watching it because it was always shocking. These women showing up to the hospital and saying, I didn't know I was pregnant. And everybody's like, how could that happen to her? Well, sure. Some people should be able to detect when they're pregnant. But if you've been told over and over, it can't happen, then you're going to believe when you have nausea, like Nelva did, that you're having food poisoning. You're going to have bad gas pain. You're going to feel like, you're going to feel everything but the most obvious thing, which is a pregnancy test. The truth is, if you're a woman under 60, and actually in the United States, because we do IVF and all that stuff, we certainly counsel healthcare providers. If a woman shows up to you complaining of anything at all,
do a pregnancy test.
And that's because pregnancy can present differently. And for some women, you don't feel anything. I mean, having nausea and vomiting at 20 weeks, which is what Nelva was, right? 5 months is around 20 weeks.
5 months.
It can happen, and it does happen. And I think what we need to do, because I encounter this a lot as a fertility specialist and as a PCOS specialist, is one, a lot of people have heard the wrong thing about PCOS. The same thing goes for the other side of PCOS, which is there are a lot of women who assume because they have a period every month that it's impossible for them to have PCOS, right? Or that they have eggs. Yes, Stephanie. And so I'm sorry that happened to you. You're actually highlighting something that I have found to be very common in Trinidad and Tobago. I think one of the downsides to a healthcare system that is primarily generalist is, and I mean generalist in so many ways, right? In terms of even OBGYN. OBGYN is a very big specialty. And yet, if we're honest with most people who studied OBGYN, they don't like talking about hormones and the hormonal side of OBGYN, which includes PCOS. And so unless you're talking to a subspecialist, unless you're talking to someone who really dedicated their life's work and learning to understanding that aspect of health and hormones and biology and absence of periods, and absence of period by itself doesn't automatically mean menopause, nor does it automatically mean sterility. People need to stop throwing that word around, by the way. What is sterility? Good God.
Exactly.
We don't have that word anymore. So I'm sorry that happened. Yes, if you wanted to get pregnant before your daughter, the simplest treatment would have been to give you some Clomid and follow and maybe help you release an egg with what we call a trigger shot. But it was undermanaged, without question. It was undermanaged and poorly managed, ultimately. And by the way, you could still get pregnant there. I hope you know.
Nelva, you hear that?
No, I hear that.
I love that. I love that. I love that. So Jo-Anne, your comments was really relevant, and we are happy. We are happy about this panel. No, Sharon Frith Jackson, we are 1 hour and a half. This is the time when we're supposed to end, but because of your your connections
My
today.
internet I keep cutting off all the time, and I'm not hearing in and out.
So
You know what I mean?
to move
But
to Nelva. We had to move
that's all right.
Nelva in order to get this very important topic going. So
yes.
So in as many words as you can, tell us what are the I asked the question before. What are the feedbacks that you could give? How much you how much you have to say now on how you deal with after listening to a sister and a mother. Tell us what you have to say about your son.
Okay, well, my son, Shaquan, before it was a challenge for me, today it's not a challenge because I bring these here for you all to see. This is Shaquan.
Whoa, where you get all those medals? I know you like it. Tell us about the keyboard before you go.
Special Olympics. Shaquan,
yes, hallelujah.
All these are Special Olympics. You know what I mean? And pardon me?
He's following in your footsteps, eh?
Yes.
You're going to the Olympics.
Yes. So come here. Look at him here. I'm so proud of him, you know. And Shaquan is a child. Shaquan have a keyboard, he have a drums, he have a guitar. Shaquan plays every little instrument. He's not perfect, but he tries.
No, he plays it. That's what matters. He plays it.
Yes.
Tell us about the incident where someone used his keyboard.
The what?
Tell us about the incident when someone took his keyboard and using it and how he was watching them.
Oh, yeah. Look at him, you see? Look at
he doesn't like no one to touch his things.
Just he don't like nobody to touch his things, and he's a good artist too. Let me show you a few stuff that Shaquan, you know.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
So he does his what? So he does coloring real good.
Nah, boy.
Enjoy it.
My boy.
He draws these. Yeah, he on point, and I'm telling you, he love dinosaurs.
Yes, man.
Oh, yeah, man. He's an old man. He's way back. He like dinosaurs. Hallelujah.
Yeah, he loves dinosaurs. Look at this one.
Wow.
Hello, and he loves colors.
Nice.
And he colored them so within the borders. Very well done.
Let me tell you something. He know every name of these dinosaurs. I don't know the names of dinosaurs.
No, don't ask me that.
And don't even ask me the names, but I'm telling you, he know every name of these dinosaurs. I am so proud of this child, you know, and at one time I used to be ashamed in the earlys, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I want my child to be, to be cared for. I used to be so ashamed because of the dreadful eyes. You will look at people watching him in a certain way, and I'm ready to fight.
Oh God!
Because I'm ready to. No, serious. You watch him a certain way. I'm ready to defend my child. You understand?
Yes,
as a mother, I want to go out there. I will be sitting on the bus and they'll be looking at him and people laughing. And you know what I mean? And I'm like, what are you laughing at? What are you looking at?
Hey,
because I get into a fighting mood. I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to defend my child, and I'm going to defend this child.
Until
me, God loaned him to me, and if God didn't know I couldn't handle him, He would not give him to me. So I always say I thank God for him, this child, and I thank God for my son, Shane, because I have a son in the Marine Corps. Yeah, yes. I have three sons. I have only one daughter, and I have a son in the Marine Corps. And when my son was a baby, and my son came home, he never had problems with his fine motor skills and physical therapy because my son drilled him like a soldier. when that physical, I'm telling you, when that physical therapist and that occupational therapist come into my house, they said he really don't need it because he already had that going. You know what I mean?
Or they
He
had
walked
him,
at
they
an
had him
early
on
age.
point. Yes.
Yeah, at an early age, he walked at the, you know, as a Down syndrome child, you're delayed to walk, delayed to speak, delayed. Yes.
Yeah.
He was never a floppy child. At the age of what, 8 months, he was walking. You know.
Yes,
And yes, at the age of 8 months, he was walking. So I am grateful. Told God, I said, you know what? I was so scared, and I started to pray, and I said, God, all I want you to do for me is take away the look.
You look of
yeah,
people.
I told God, I said, take away. No, not the look, because not the look of people, because you know with Down syndrome children, yes, they have that flat face, small ears. They have a different look. You notice my son, he doesn't have that kind of look. You know what I mean?
No.
And I told God, I said, God, take away, yes, the protruding tongue. And I said, God, take that away from him. And I thank God, because I'm telling you, this child, he is a child among children. You understand? Yes. He excels in school. He excels in school. I try to put him in everything. Everything. I am his biggest advocate. I go out there and I advocate for my child. And every time I see another mother's child with Down syndrome, you cannot tell me I see a child out there with Down syndrome and I see somebody going after that child. I'm going to fight. I'm fighting. That's who I am. And because I see Shukwan in that person, you know, so as a mother, you know.
Jo-Anne want to say something to you.
You know, I was looking at his drawings, which he said he drew freehand and he colored. You need to put it in a book and print them out, get them sent everywhere. I really can see that in a book. I can just see that.
Yeah.
It's really nice. You really should get it.
Thank you.
Get the words written around you, what he's writing, and put it in a storybook. Children would really enjoy that.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I think
all right.
Keep the original.
At one time, I used to think that Down's. Okay, thank you, Jo-Anne. At one time, I used to think that Down syndrome was an illness. You know what I mean? But Down syndrome is not an illness.